So hi guys, for all of those who have joined so far, thank you for coming on here. This is Adnan Khan from K9 School. Welcome to DocSpot Live Chats. I am here with Miss Pavneet Kaur. She is a K9 nutrition specialist amongst many other things, which we will get to know over this live, chat. So let's wait for a few more people to join in. Thank you, Tarandeep. I think we just got a response that they are able to see us both. So perfect. So we are just starting. Let's probably wait for a few more minutes for more and more people to come in. So meanwhile, we can just discuss. So how have you been during the lockdown? What have you been up to so far in the past few days?
Yeah, sure.
So anything new that you've been trying in your day-to-day time, especially during this lockdown period, since you're getting a bit of free time? Any activities, any new hobbies, any old hobbies that you're resurfacing?
So, Adnan, you are asking me, I guess.
Yes. Correct. Yeah, I'm asking you as
Okay,
well as the viewers, but while they text, both of us can have some, things that we can share with the
sure,
people here.
sure. So, as of now, I have been, brushing up my nutrition skills. That's what I've been focusing on, and I'm learning cooking as well because I'm not really good at cooking. And
Okay.
apart from that, more focus is on my exercise these days
Right.
because I'm into fitness. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm, focusing a lot more on the stabilizers, the small muscles. We have always been working on the big muscles, but
Right.
I'm working most specifically on the small muscles to give me more stability and better performance in the sport.
Okay. This is for balance and
And
less injury and stuff, is it?
yes, especially for that. And apart
Okay.
from that, I'm focusing on more on self development, trying to know myself more as a person.
Right. And do
Yeah.
you do
And
you
what about you?
so I've ended up staying at the dog center at the dog facility. So I'm with a lot of dogs nowadays, like about 15 of them. So I'm getting to like just spend a
Oh,
lot of
that's nice.
time, play with them and stuff like that. And yeah, just getting bored every now and then. We have like everything dog related for sure, but my family is actually in a different home, so we just get to catch up with each other on texts and stuff like that. So I was also experimenting on a haircut. So I've gotten a mohawk, as you can see for all the viewers over here. So yeah, trying all the things where when you're away from facing society day to day. Now there's many more experiments we can do, which we won't run into.
Yes, true.
Opinions in a day, and then I can try it out and see. Maybe then I will stick with it as well. So yeah, so let's start now that a lot of people are here. Let me give another introduction. Hi, DocSpot family. Welcome to this DocSpot live chat. We have been doing this for now quite some time. Sorry, there's a few flies here. We've been doing this for quite some time now over at Instagram, but now we have recently shifted to our Facebook page for doing these chats. I am Adnan Khan, the founder and owner of K9 School. I am a dog trainer. I run a training center as well. I am here with Miss Pavneet Kaur from Famina. She is a nutritional specialist, and I'm going to be asking her a few questions. And guys, make sure that you write down your questions in the ongoing comments below, which we'll be very keen to answer for you and bring them up, as long as they are related to canine nutrition and general animal nutrition. And as we will get to find out that Ms. Pavneet is also into human nutrition and human fitness and functioning. So we won't get too much into that part, but we would like to just compare the two and get the understandings. So Ms. Pavneet, could you just start off by telling the viewers a bit about yourself? Where are you right now? And how did you get into this animal nutrition? Please.
Yeah. Hi, Adnan. First of all, thank you. Thank you for having me today. And it's a lovely evening. It's an honor to be here with you guys. I'm a nutrition consultant for past 2 years for human beings, and I have started working as a nutrition consultant for Famina from last 8 months. And that's one fine day I get an email. That's how I got into the nutrition for pets, and
Okay.
it was really interesting to know how different it is from human beings, because I never really gave it a thought. But
Right.
it was an idea that pets are nowadays a part of the family, so they should be taken care of as a family, right? So that's where
Absolutely.
if we consult, human beings consult nutrition consultant for their diets, why not for the pets?
Yes, exactly. So,
Yeah. And nowadays, I am in Pune, as as you are stuck away from the family. Same here. I'm also away from the family in Pune.
where are you originally from?
I'm from Punjab.
From Punjab. Okay. What part?
Yeah.
Where is your family based at the
Uh,
moment?
so family is right now in Zirakpur.
In
So that's
Zirakpur.
near
Okay.
Chandigarh.
So,
Yeah.
so my family is actually not that far, like Pune and Punjab. They're just down the road. They're about 30 minutes drive away. And that's the saddest part, that we are
Okay.
literally like about 10 kilometers from each other. From my dog center and my home were a drive down. So I had come to the center before the lockdown to stock up on the supplies. And then eventually I just ended up getting stuck here initially by mistake, and then eventually, on purpose, because this is a 1 acre farm with fresh air,
Yes.
no traffic, and it's much easier to stay safe here because there's no neighbors and contamination and many other things. Plus, in fact, in
Yes.
dogs, so we are running a dog center. We are very used to learning about these quarantine protocols and methods. So I'm experienced in that since the last 7-8 years, that a single thing that happens to a dog, if it's infectious, then I have to have my 10-12 step protocol that I follow in my facility as humans, with the other dogs, with the bowls, all the protocols that now humans are learning during the COVID-19, about washing the hands, not
Yeah.
sharing the clothes and airborne things. Us being in the dog, industry, with gastro, with tick fever, with parvo, all these things, we follow these protocols from earlier itself. So we were
Yes.
quite used to that. So Pavneet, I want to start off with a few questions about yourself and Famina's specialized service that has started an exclusive service, which is nutritional consultancy. And you very rightly said that every human right now is looking out to make lifestyle positive changes in their lifestyle. And besides the fitness and besides the exercises part, the main thing that the new age is realizing, that nutritional and diet changes is the way to go, is to make a lot of changes. And I'll be learning a lot from you in this aspect, for myself as well as the dogs. So so basically, I want to sort of kickstart with this factor, that when you have done both these subjects, human nutrition and canine nutrition, what kind
Yes.
of differences did you discover in both of them? What are the main things that are very essential for humans, and what are the things essential for dogs, and how is it different, for the viewers, new learning people out
Sure.
there?
Okay, so we'll start with the mouth. First of all, the jaw movement. If we see for dogs, it's just up and down, so that they can tear the food, and then they can there is no chewing part which is
Right,
involved in pets nutrition. But for
right.
humans, it's sideways and up and down both. So with that, we can chew the food, and we can cut and tear and grind. We can do everything, right?
Right,
But and
right,
in dogs, and in that as well, dogs, they don't have the salivary amylase, which is
right.
used for the pre-digestion of carbohydrates. But in human beings, the major difference is we have salivary amylase, due to which we can, digest carbohydrates really well. And in
Okay.
that aspect, 60% most of the time, if we see the Indian diet, 60% of our diet is made up of carbohydrates. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case with the dogs. We'll discuss this a little later in detail.
Okay.
And apart from that, saliva in them, it's just, antibacterial, that kills the
Right.
bacteria in the mouth. And then
Mhm.
coming to teeth, they have sharp and pointed teeth. Then that again
Right.
points towards that they are carnivores. And for human beings, it's like our teeth are not that sharp, and
Right.
they're more like flat. And
Mhm.
apart from that, then we have esophagus, the food pipe. If we talk about that, the digestive tract is very small in case of pets, due to which the time that the food stays in the digestive tract is like 12 to 30 hours for
Right.
dogs,
Uh-huh.
and for cats it's like 12 to 24 hours. But for
Okay.
human beings, the food can stay in our body like for days.
Mhm.
It may take some days for the digestion of the food. So that's
Right.
also where the difference in food eating habits is. And then
Right.
we have to worry a lot about cholesterol. That's the
Right.
most dangerous thing, like as of now, cholesterol in human beings. But pets, they don't have to worry about
Very
cholesterol
good.
in terms, right? And then in the stomach acid, these are the basic things that differentiates us. If we talk about the stomach acid for dogs and cats, it's very acidic, but for human beings, it's like, slightly less than that. That again points towards cats and dogs are carnivores, and human beings, they can digest multiple, different kinds of food. And then vitamin C, that's an essential vitamin for us, but for cats and dogs, it's not. And then coming to the major thing, carbohydrates. See, all these things, they tell us that dogs and cats especially, they are, carnivores, and human beings, they are omnivores. So carbohydrate is something which is a major source of energy for human beings. Right. But for cats and dogs, protein and fat are the major source of energy, which points towards, non-veg meat has to be the basic source of energy for dogs and cats. And in that also, cats are strict carnivores, like we should not give them vegetarian diet. Vegetables, vegetarian diet should not be a source of energy for them. But for dogs, they can, dogs, they can still, like 20%, they can digest carbohydrate, but cats cannot. So cats are strict carnivores. We cannot even talk about, okay, my cat is vegetarian.
Right.
That
so
concept does not exist.
You're going to be murdering your cat. You're going to be killing your cat if you try to put your vegetarian lifestyle onto a cat. Is that correct?
Yes. And then other things like, difference is in smell and taste buds. For example, human beings have like 9,000 taste buds. Cats and dogs, cats have 500 and dogs have just 1,700 taste buds. So that also differentiates us. We eat according to the taste of the food, but dogs and cats, they have, olfactory mucus more. So that is why they have stronger sense of smell. That is why, they smell the food and they eat according to the smell of the food.
Smell, basically.
And we'll come across, how to introduce a new food. Yes. So in that, we'll talk about in the session today, how to introduce a new food. This is on this thing.
Yes. So over the ongoing chat, eventually we will be also talking about how to transition foods and stuff. Just to sum up the points that you have put over here, just for the viewers to understand and keep this in their mind, and also share it with everyone around. That and you can correct me anytime, Bhavneet, when I mention this, that ideally cats are pure protein, pure carnivorous. 90 to 95% should be animal meats and should be meats in their diet. Dogs would be somewhere between 70 to 80% should be protein intensive in their diet, and rest 20-30% can be grains and supplements and additives. And moving on to humans, it is almost the opposite side of the spectrum, where a human can live on even 20% protein or even 0% animal meats. Now that you've seen people moving into vegetarian and vegan for a fitness agenda. So so on a scale, it's literally that human is on this end and cats and tigers and lions literally on two different ends, and dogs go more on the meat side of the nutrition and less on the vegetarian and the vegan side. Why I want to emphasize on this is because in our Indian culture, there is a lot of vegetarian lifestyles, and very respectfully so, because it is one of the most healthy lifestyles. But at the same point of time, what I have personally noticed, because I take a lot of training and behavior consulting, where I do sometimes help and guide based on what they're feeding. So what I've noticed is that they would say that, okay, we have a vegetarian household, so this dog is also raised on a total vegetarian diet, like you said, and like we acknowledge that cats would almost die slowly if they are put on a vegetarian diet. Dogs would survive, but they would not live very well or very healthy or very happy over a course of time if there is no meat into their diet, basically.
Yes.
Right. So thank you for for this point, because it's a very, very important point that we want to put forward to the viewers, that you could be vegetarian or vegan, but please do not torture the animals, and please do research and find a nutritional consultant. Farmina would be a pioneer brand who is offering this service. There are very few limited individual nutritional consultants, but now Farmina is making sure that this is a service that is provided nationwide. And there are multiple specialists in animal nutrition, just like Bhavneet Kaur in your nearby areas, which you can check from Farmina website and reach out to them for particular queries. How much percentage of what should be put into my dog, and about how they can help as well. So can I also have a look at a few questions that have been asked over here while we move on to
Yeah, sure.
me asking you the next question. Hi Chetna. Chetna is here.
Yeah.
She is asking, Chetna Malik is also a dog trainer. So she's asking, what does it mean if a dog's alkaline phosphatase is high, ALP? It sounds like a medical question to me. I'll try and phrase it for you. So the vet has suggested that the ALP in the dog was high, but they said it's nothing as a cause of worry for now. So is there anything from your nutritional expertise that you would want to comment about ALP, and what kind of, it's a dog, by the way, ALP for a dog. So how we can sort of affect it if it's too high? Anything in the diet that can be done besides obviously, let's say, medicines or taking it to the vet or something like that?
Okay, so it will really depend upon, the kind of nutrition, the kind of diet that they are giving. After, we can comment on that. And it would be great if we can detail her diet, and she can, for this particular question, because this is a particular question that is related to a particular problem. So it would be great if she can, reach out to us on the website, and we'll get back to her personally and answer her query.
Okay.
Because for that, we would need to know her a proper diet. What is she giving as of now to her pet?
Right. So let's say if this dog was on, high grade dog food, for example, Farmina, because I am aware of the dog that is being asked about, and she was on Farmina. If I'm not wrong, she is still on Farmina right now. And this is a 25 kilo shepherd, so Belgian shepherd. So if she is currently on Farmina itself, will there be, will it help to reduce or increase the same food that we are feeding, or change any particular brand? Would that help in any way?
So for that also, we would need to know her what is the metabolic energy of the pet. For that, we would take into consideration the age, the weight of the pet, and the activity level of the pet, the breed of the pet. So considering these things, we'll make a tailor-made nutrition plan for the pet, and then we can decide whether she's giving more of the food, or if she's giving less food, or apart from that, is she giving any other supplements with the food? Because there are things, that come into play that may cause some problem or the other. Because if you are giving a balanced diet, then there is nothing to worry about, that your pet can suffer from stones or something like that, whether the environment in the body can be acidic or basic. If you're giving a well-balanced diet, mostly that does not happen if you're feeding enough water as well. Okay. So for that, this is a particular condition. We would ask her to, reach out to us. She can just come to our website, and we'll get back to her for the query.
So Chetna, please reach out to the Farmina website, where you have the option of, giving all your details to the nutritional consultancy service. And as you know that there are, this is not automated service. There are humans behind that who will go through that effort and go through that research for you, and they will get back to you within a span of, half a day. Can you let us know, and how long would you get back to a person once they reach your website for the nutritional consultancy?
So we are available from 10 to 6. We try to do it as soon as possible. If she's reaching out between 10 to 6, we'll instantly try to get in touch with her, maybe, 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the range is as fast as possible. If it's during the working hours, 10 to 6, you might even get your response between 45 minutes to an hour. And, and we're really grateful that during this lockdown, we have, people like Bhavneet helping us for our dog's nutrition. But yeah, give a good time window of a couple of hours, and make sure all of the information possible that you need to give the dogs: age, breed, weight, all the things that you've been feeding, all the supplements, everything possible, even some medical reports if you possibly can. And then once you have sent across all of that, then Farmina team is going to get back to you with the best possible advice about the nutrition. Right. So before we move on to the next few questions, I just wanted to pick up on a few more factors that I want Bhavneet, your advice. And these are this is the most common question that comes to me as well as a trainer when somebody gets a new dog, that what should I feed my pet? I know it's a very, very broad question because, sometimes people are feeding dal chawal, sometimes people are feeding Cerelac, sometimes porridge. The biggest mistake people are making is that because they have researched that, 5 veggies a day and dal chawal is the best nutrition for me and my family, then that is the best thing for my dog. So a lot of times there's a lot of random experiments done on dogs to feed them in the house. So according to you, if you had a dog or if you do have one, what is your favorite, dietary preference? What would you suggest for the people?
Okay, so the only answer for this is we should always go with the commercial dog food because a lot of research has been done to make that food. We at our homes nowadays, even we don't know about our human body, what
Right.
is good for me, what's not good for me. That is why we are seeking the nutrition consultants, and that is why you see nowadays, the nutrition consultation is growing a lot for human beings
Right.
because even we don't understand for our body what's
Mhm.
important for us,
Right.
from knowing how it is going to affect if I take this, whether I feel good or not. Apart from that, for dogs, we don't even know the digestive system. What are the enzymes, that are helping to break down the food? What is the process going inside the dog food? Just by going to Google and finding out information, it's not a good idea to make a balanced diet because that
Right.
does not. A balanced diet should be, it should have all the 7 macro minerals. It should have 6 micro minerals. It should
Right.
have the like essential fatty acids. Then
Mhm.
it should have the protein and fat as a major source of energy. There should be
Mhm.
no byproducts available in the food. So you should really have to go. Maybe if you would want to go and try to find out what are the good food companies. Always
Right.
go preferably with the dog food, and that's
Mhm.
where Farmina is different, I would say, because
Right.
we just don't provide the food, we also provide the service as well. We come
Mhm.
into play, where you can always reach out to a consultant. For example, you have bought a puppy, you like got home a puppy or you adopted a puppy, you can always
Right.
reach out to us. We will guide you from day one and till the time your pet is with you. What should
Mhm.
be you feeding to your pet? What should be the exact quantity that you should feed your pet? Because that really depends from
Right.
puppy stage. It changes. For example, in the first year, the most important thing that we have to look after is we have to look after that we are giving a well balanced diet, and that too we have to make sure that we are feeding enough quantity to our pet, because every 3 months, or every 3 months, the energy factor
Yep, I can see her joining in. Let me just add her window to the stream. Karan, you can absolutely have this cat. There's only one. I think you had mentioned that before as well. Now I need to hide my skull because I have a mohawk that I'm experimenting with, so I don't really want to share caps at the moment. So adding Bhavneet back to the video, but I will make sure I make Karan a canine school cap just for you, and probably write your name or Pasha at the back specifically, and Canine School hoodies and jerseys specific with your name on it. Hi, Bhavneet. Sorry, I think with
Yeah,
the
sorry.
window
Yes,
got
yes, I'm
blocked.
sorry for
I was
that.
just
Yes.
entertaining the viewers in the meantime, keeping them,
Okay.
bearing with me. So, Mr. Raja Hasnain Jahangir is sending a shout out all the way from Famina, Pakistan. So I think it's really, really nice that we have international viewers on this, and from our neighboring brotherly countries who are also part of Famina family, and they're watching this Dog Spot live. It's fantastic. So hi sir, hi Mr. Raja, best regards to you. If you want to send us a message or ask us something, we would be happy to answer that for you. Mr. Vivek has already asked me this before, and he's asked this again. Please, let's answer this as fast as we can. He has 2 questions. His first question is that why is my beagle's neck smelling even after a bath? So again, it's not a nutrition based question, but if you can refer it somehow to nutrition, because I do feel that a coat smell and coat condition does have to do a lot with the diet and the gut flora and what they're eating and stuff. If it's before you answer it, Mr. Vivek, if it's only the neck, it is also possible that you are putting on the collar for too long. Your collar is not a great quality. Maybe there is fungal buildup because there's moisture on the collar. And if it's only the neck that's smelling bad, then please, when you get your dog back from a walk, always take off the collar. Over to you, Bhavneet, to answer the nutritional response for this one. Zain,
See,
idhar aa. Come here.
for this, we would really like, again, we would like to know, the history of the pet, what's going on with that, if there is itching on the skin. There are skin problems that are associated definitely with the diet. But for that, the major problem is like, redness of the, redness, there is itching, and there is some hair loss, excessive hair loss, sometimes, appetite loss as well. So these are these factors also, affecting the dog, if we can help us with that. Otherwise, just one part is better answered by you itself.
Right. That if it's
You've
just
already
the neck,
answered that.
could be,
Yeah.
could be a topical fungal issue and not a dietary thing. And Mr. Vivek had also specifically asked, now this is a very good point. I believe then he is feeding NND lamb and pumpkin puppy medium and maxi. And he had asked that where can I find it in Chandivali, Mumbai, as facing trouble due to the COVID issues, need a 12 kg pack. So in fact, we are all here today, me, Pavneet, and DogSpot and Famina, to inform you guys that dogspot.in, the website, the best pet portal, and I love that website. I used to also be a part of that before venturing into dog training myself. So we at dogspot.in are delivering all across the country. Famina is being delivered by dogspot.in. So please visit the website. Please see what you want to order. Place that order, and dog food, animal fodder, as you know, is part of essentials. So we will be happy to help. The website has that availability itself, and you can also contact your local, Famina offices and distributors and retailers to find out about that as well. The best option would be to order online from dogspot.in. I think Mr. Rana Athaiya has already answered that below, and we have a pinned comment saying the same. So can I take maybe one more question before we move on to the discussion about nutrition in general? Mr. Karan had asked that he just shifted from NND to Farmina Team Breeder Pack. He's on grain free. So can you explain a couple of differences between the normal NND Farmina option that is there and the Team Breeder that is there? How, which dog or which dog owner should be choosing it and why?
See, NND comes in the super premium range. So when we talk about super premium, so it has the essential, vitamins, minerals, and it has the added antioxidants also in the food. It has the essential fatty acids in the food. So there is a difference, between Team Breeders and NND. NND comes in the super premium range, and for Team Breeder, it is for the pets, somebody like who have a lot of pets, so they have to take care of a lot of pets. So in that case, we can go with the Team Breeder that comes in the premium range. And it does not have all the fruits and vegetables that we have added additionally in the NND diet.
Right.
But in both the foods, we have not added any kind of byproducts.
Right.
So that differentiates us from the other brands, that we don't use any kind of byproducts in the food.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for that. And in fact, you had mentioned earlier to pick up on your previous answer that a particular scientifically researched and complete canine nutrition can only be found in a high quality dog food brand. And please note the fact that it has to be a very, very high quality brand, and not just every brand out there is safe and advisable for your dogs because of what they use. There is a lot of brands which you might find them to be much cheaper and totally let's say throwaway prices as well at times, but the kind of meat and the kind of ingredients that are being sourced and being put into it are not ideal, and they're not the best for the health. So it is very important to go after the highest grade, the premium, the high quality, and the super premium variants, and that should be the preference when choosing the kibble as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, you're right.
So
and there's each and every ingredient.
Yeah, please go on. Sorry.
So the other thing that I was saying is, when they are doing the research, for example, we have FAR, Famina Life Research. So in that, we do a lot of research on each and every ingredient, how it is going to behave in the body. So we know how it is affecting the dog's nutrition. But at home, we are always experimenting. We don't know what is to be given and how much quantity it is to be given.
Right. It is based on emotions a lot of times. If my dog to you and comes to me and wags his tail and is looking cute, even though he finished his meal, I might just give him my food as well. Then, I've heard of instances where in case I'm, going for a prayer, for example, then they will get a laddu because everyone is getting that mithai after the prayer. Then in case, it's my birthday, I have a human cake, then the dog will get that as well. During tea time, the dog will get extra tidbits as well. So these are the things
Yes,
people generally don't share. They feel that, the dog has to be part of tea time, so it must get the rusk and the biscuits and everything. And we don't know how we are, ending up damaging the dog's,
yes.
insides because of these kind of practices.
Yeah, definitely. And if so, in these things, what we are compromising is the dogs and cats, they eat according to the metabolic energy, right? So if for example, the dogs mostly need very little calories. Once they are adult, they're like, for different breeds, it varies. It varies from around like 400 calories to around 1000, 1200, 16 calories, depending
Right.
upon the kind of work, how active they are. So
Mm-hmm.
if in the for example, for a very small breed whose requirement is just 400 calories in a day, if
Right.
you feed them 100 calories just out of treats, just out of love, the things that you're eating, and you just give it to them, and you're like giving 100. So one
Mm-hmm.
fourth of the diet is just nothing, which is not going to give them any nutrition. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
300 calories that is left, that they're going to eat the food. And sometimes then you might feel, that the pet is not eating the food properly, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't take into account that they have eaten already a lot of things. So
Right.
we are always, compensating for the calories, that a dog should get a balanced diet. So in
Mm-hmm.
this also, I'll also talk about, sometimes pet parents have, can I feed like one meal as homemade and the other meal as a dog food? So again, the homemade meal that you're giving is not always balanced. So again, you're compensating for the calories that you're giving to your pet. For example, 800 calories is the calorie requirement for a day. 400 you're giving from maybe a good brand like Parmina, and 400 from just, normal food, a homemade
Mm-hmm.
meal. So 400 is, again, you're not giving the complete proper balanced diet.
Right.
Again, so you won't see the good results. Then you might feel, okay, I was giving the dog food, but my pet is not healthy, and things like that, come up. So we really have to make sure that we are giving a well balanced diet from a dog food. For dogs, we have to stick to the dog food as of now, till the time, we are not able to. If I have not done the complete research about, what I should be feeding my pet at
Right.
home,
Right.
even I can't make a balanced diet for a pet. Even after
Absolutely.
a nutrition, being a nutrition consultant, I cannot. And that's the truth. We have to, accept that we should go with the dog food.
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely. In fact, there is another good point in your answer that I found, because we face a lot of people that we're consulting, you for nutrition and me for our behavior. Sometimes they ask me nutrition questions as well. So I've seen that some people give feedback on the dog food not suiting them by saying that, oh, I feed, certain dog food and it doesn't suit my dog. And then we get to know that only one meal they're feeding dog food, but the other meal could be roti and milk as well, or could be rice
Yeah.
and dahi as well, or vegetables and soup or something like that. So how can they be sure that it is the dog food that is not suiting the dog if there's extra additive, extra ingredients that are being provided? And this is one point I want to highlight from your end, that if you are feeding Farmina or any high quality premium dog food, then you do not need any additional supplements. You do not need additional meat, treats, vegetables. In fact, coming from a trainer, trust me, when my dogs are on Farmina, I use that perfect size kibble for training. I don't need extra training treats. And that's the beauty of Farmina, why I've been feeding that to my dogs, and I've been suggesting it to the people around me for many years already, that it is the most complete nutrition. Over and above that, you do not need additional supplements from the market. Yes, obviously sometimes certain medical cases where the vet suggests adding a few things. Besides that, for a general healthy dog, you do not need to give any extra food or treats or supplements. So is that a correct statement? Sorry, I'm answering more than taking questions from you.
No,
But
no, that's a correct one. And in that, I'll add, because if you're sometimes, giving more supplements to your pet, one supplement can interfere with the other. For example, if you're giving more calcium, it can interfere with zinc, it can interfere with, phosphorus. So there are a lot of different complications that comes from giving additional supplements to the food, to the
right,
pet. So when you're
absolutely.
giving a balanced food, it's already taken care of. So please don't feed additional supplements to the well balanced food that you're giving from a good dog food. So no additional supplements are also needed with that.
Perfect, perfect. So, I want to ask this from you, that this is, one very pertinent question that people have, that how much exact grammage should I be feeding to my dog? Even though you have answered this a couple of times in this chat already, that, that people come ask me as well, and I'm sure they'll be asking you as well, that how much should I be
Yes.
feeding my dog? My dog seems that he is hungry even after that. She comes for my meals as well and stuff like that. So what is the, what would be your advice to people asking this question about dosage
Okay.
and
Okay. So that's where the role of a nutrition consultant comes in. So
right.
that's where we help you to, know what's the age of the pet. So there are different factors that come into play to find out what is the exact, energy requirement for a pet. So that takes into consideration the age, the weight, the,
Right.
reproductive system health of the pet. And then, it takes into consideration the, like gender, and then also the activity level of a pet and the growth stage, like whether they are puppy, they are adult, or they are senior. So these are different things that comes into play. That's how we can find out what is the exact calorie requirement of a pet. So we
Right.
have a proper formula to find out that what is the calorie requirement. So accordingly, and it will also depend on the food that you're giving, because different brands, different foods have different calorie requirement. For
Right.
example, Formula is quite energy dense, because out of the 6 ingredients that you find in the food, top five you'll find non-veg. And this varies between different brands. So due to this, the food is energy dense. So if the
Right.
food is having more calories per kg, so you have to feed less. And it
Right.
will
Right.
depend upon what is the metabolic energy requirement for the pet. So accordingly, we can suggest what is to be given. So that
Right.
is why where Farmina has come up with a tailor-made nutrition plan. So that's
Right.
why we come into play. What is the exact quantity that is to be given to a pet? So I would
Right.
advise you can always reach out to us. It is complete free of cost service that we are providing. We will tell you how much is to be given to a pet, and we'll make a tailor-made nutrition plan for your pet. We will suggest you what is the food that you can choose from different variants
Right.
according to your breed and the physiological factors of the pet.
Right. So, Bhavneet, picking up to this aspect, why we are the particular reason why we are here to, introduce this one of a kind service in the pet industry, in the dog food industry, about, free nutritional consultancy service being offered by Farmina. So, I want you to talk a little more about it. One, that why did your team, a very able team, decide to do it? How many in India do you have as nutritional consultants? How many people so far have taken consulting from you particularly, or your entire team? And what kind of responses has it been so far? After that, then please walk us through the step-by-step process of, after this live chat, I am going to go on the website and put in my dog's details. I have 15 dogs, so it might take me a few days to do that. So I'll go one by one, but I will make sure to do that. So if you can, simplify the steps after that. So let's start with the reason why you guys decided to do this, and how has the journey been so far, and what is this all about, the nutritional consultancy service?
Okay. See, pets, they eat according to the metabolic energy of the food. So sometimes, one thing I'll start with is, you know, there is a concept of being healthy.
Right.
You know that, like in India, we call, Arey, healthy hai, bahut healthy hai, acha healthy. So that concept is also coming into the pets. So
Right.
obesity is one thing which is like, 40% of the dogs that you find today are obese. So to counter that, we have come up with the nutrition consultation concept that we can make a tailor-made nutrition plan for each
Right.
and every pet, because each and every pet's requirement is unique. Each and every pet is unique, just like human beings. For example, you might be needing more calories, I might be needing less calories, but we can take care of what should be
Right.
eat, right? For pets being a part of the family member, we really need to know what is the exact calorie requirement of the pet, and how we can do that is by finding out, what is the exact calorie requirement for the pet. And
Right.
to that, we have taken, as I told you, these are the a few factors that come into account. So the one thing is, and why only human beings have the privilege of getting the nutrition plan? Why not
Right.
pets when they are a part of the family member? And Farmina pays a lot of attention to obesity, because
Right.
that's the main cause of all the major problems that are coming in pets, be it cardio, be it obesity, be it joint, a lot of different issues are coming up just because of obesity. So that's where we want to focus, because if you are giving more food to your pet, and apart from the food you're also giving a lot of treats, and apart from that you're giving a lot of homemade food as well, so you're not getting the proper benefits of using the dog food.
Right.
So these are different things to mainly, control obesity and to give a pet a unique experience, and to a very, transparent service to the pet parents. So they can always reach out to us if they have any query regarding food. So they know where to reach out to. So they can trust the dog food, as a complete food. And Farmina is, a simple diet or just a complementary diet or just, a supplements. It's a complete pet food. So for that, we really have to tell people, okay, what is the exact quantity that you have to give to you. So the pets not just survive, but they thrive, and they don't have to suffer from, all the different lifestyle problems that come during their life. If the pet's nutrition is fine, your pet will live longer and a very healthy life. So at Farmina, we are very considerate about, pets, because it's like a part of the family.
Right.
And so this is the concept why we have started this service. And apart from that, how we do it is, people can, so we have a sick team of 7 to 8 consultants all over India, who we are now, but we can, it's located in different parts of the country, but we are providing this service all over India. So people can reach out to us online, and we will try to help them as much as possible through online. Or if they are, in the city, we can always, so there are different shops and clinic that we visit, and we can always give them the service. So whenever we are at the stores, so we have a lot of different things. I'll just show you a few things that we, kind of give to people. For example, this is for the puppy. So whenever people have new puppies or they have new kittens, so this is a small guide, nutrition and care for puppies. So how people can take care of the puppies. And for kittens and puppies, we have this that we can give out to people. And then we have different samples also. So this is a small sample I can show you just for a reference. So these are the different things that we give to people. And apart from that, we guide them in person, if they have a small pet or if they have a, adult or the senior dog, what is to be taken care of. So it's a step-by-step process. Every 2 months, we make a nutrition plan for the pet, because the needs keep changing. So we make a nutrition plan for the pets, and we do the best part is we do a follow up after 10 days and 30 days. So we can stay in touch with the people. So if somebody is shifting from other food to Farmina food, we will stay in touch, and we will give a follow up call after 10 days to, find out if the transition has been smooth. And after 30 days, how is the pet doing? Because that's a really important thing, to stay in touch with the people, and, so they can always look up to us, and they can, trust us as a brand.
Right. Bhavneet, there is a little bit of a lighting issue here.
Yes. I'll just switch on the light if I can be excused for a moment.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
So yeah, coming back, thank you so much for that, guidance. How many in person, how many people have you guided or instructed since your time in Farmina so far? Just for my information, just for the viewers to know.
Okay, so it's around 600, more than 600, 700 people that I have come across.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Right. And in that, I have a lot of, a very positive response from people, because they look forward to us, and they can always reach out to us. The best thing is, if they have, nutritional requirement, they ask us for that. The best thing is they can stay in touch with us, and that's like a family now.
They can feel secure that it's not going to be, just take the packet or take the food or something like that, but they will always support and advice and stuff like that. So also, just to pick up on this aspect, and you remember that I wanted to, we have, before we had this chat, that this again falls in our, culture in India, that in case there are signs of being overweight in a human, it always gets passed on as, oh, he's healthy. The term healthy has always been a replacement for somebody who's overweight, or, pardon my language, but let's say fat, on the heavier side, for example. And with all due respect, everyone's in humans, there are obviously weight issues ranging from lifestyle, medical, and all of that. But in dogs, because I'm very personally involved with them, we cannot personally surpass by taking an obese dog, an overweight dog, and saying that, oh, he's healthy and everyone in our family is healthy, so the dog is also going to be kept like this. One, my 2 cents, which I always like to keep adding in, is that, the heavier your dog is right now, the more overweight your dog is right now, the less years your dog will end up living. This is a more or less a large scale formula one should stick by, that if you were hoping for 13, 14 or 15, you have reduced it to 7, 8, 9 years of age as the final age because of keeping your dog overweight. So I want to ask you, according to your general, a layman's eyesight, what are the signs in a dog when you look at it is actually lean and healthy? And for me, lean is healthy. So what is that sign that you can look at a dog and you can say, okay, he is fit, he is healthy? And what is a sign where you can say he is quite overweight without going to the vet or checking the weight or something like that, just by your look of the dog, basically?
Okay, so that's where the body condition score comes in. That is a sheet that helps us to find out how is our pet looking from the top view and from the side view. These are the two things that we have to consider.
Right.
And for that, it's very simple. It's not a very hi-fi thing. So you have to see whether you are able to feel the rib cage. It should not be. There should not be. That you're not able to feel the rib cage. If that is the case, then your pet is, of course, it's overweight. If you are, if the pet, you're able to, you just have to, from the side view, there should be an abdominal tuck that you should be able to see. It should not be completely flat. There has to be a tuck if you look from the side view, right? So that's where you find if a pet is lean and if a pet is healthy. So the pet will have a tuck, abdominal tuck, that's quite visible from the side. And if you try to, if you look from the top also, it's not flat. There is a curve from the stomach and you can see the waistline basically, and you can feel the ribs. There is not a fat covering the ribs or the waistline, so you should be able to slightly able to feel the last part of the ribs, the rear ribs of the body basically. But if you are or else if your pet is like quite underweight, then the rib cage is like quite visible from the side. If that is the case, because that is the case mostly with the pets who are quite keeping their pet on vegetarian diet or keeping the pets vegan. Surprisingly, I have come across people who are keeping the pet also vegan. So in that case also you will see the rib cage visible from the rear view, side view. Yeah.
Right. So thank you for that. It's very,
I
very
hope that answers that.
Right. Because most people have a very different notion. They want, they look at my dogs, and all of my dogs, their rib cage, almost 4 or 5 muscles on the rib cage are visible. And it's a mistake that people think that it's the bone, but it's actually the muscle next to the bone that is visible in the dogs. And for us, the ideal is obviously that after the rib cage, it's curving inwards and not outwards. And only sign that I feel malnourishment, besides a few breeds, all breeds, if you see their spine visible or their hips coming out, then I think we could say that the dog is too skinny or undernourished. But besides that, if the ribs are visible and the dog is thin and skinny, it's actually a good sign of health. Just to sum up, your points on how to catch a dog in the best fitness and the best shape. And on the opposite side, if a dog is too fat, it's not difficult to miss. It's very easy to see, because after the ribs, the belly will be sticking out, the weight will be heavy. And very simple sign that I can see, we can all see in any dog, is that they struggle to walk because their hip bones have to carry a lot of their weight, and they are designed to carry their normal weight, but we add 15 kgs onto that. That is what affects their hips and bones and everything. You can relate it with humans that people with weight issues will end up having back and knee problems and ankle problems, if I'm not wrong. Like, I'm nowhere close to an expert. I'm actually quite under knowledgeable in the fitness element, but this is just an observation that I've noticed, that it affects their knees and ankles as well in humans.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because most of the weight you are putting on the knees. That's it.
Exactly. So moving on. While we go ahead and answer some of the questions, there is again I want to point out, because since this is for the viewers that I want to give out a statement again, that since we are here and we are talking about this, please go on the website of Farmina. Since everyone is during the COVID-19 lockdown, sign up for the nutritional consultancy. You will get to know your dog's level of fitness, your dog's level of diet. There is actual specialized experts out there like Bhavneet and all others in the entire country, who are going to check all of the reports and all of the data that you provide for your dog, and they will get back to you with the best, most optimum and most complete diet for your dog from the information that you provide. And they are available 10 to 6, where they will respond as soon as they can, within the span of 1 hour to 4 hours. Make sure that you reach out and get as much information as you need. If at all somebody needs food delivered to them, please log on to the website dogspot.in. This is the same page that we are live from, dogspot.in. Go on their website and you can order Farmina, which will get delivered via Dogspot throughout India, all over India basically, right? So now coming to this factor that, let's just say that I have put my dog on some kind of food, and now after this live chat I want to shift it to Farmina. So what would be the ideal way to transition from one food to the other, whether it's home food to dog food or changing one dog food to the other? Like how would you suggest, what will be the process?
Okay. See, pets have, limited microbiomes. So it's like 1,000 times less than us, because of which we can have like different food in the morning, maybe South Indian in the breakfast, Chinese in the lunch, and then, again, North Indian in the dinner. But for
Right.
pets, they have little microbial flora, due to which,
Right.
it's targeted nutrition. So what we have to do is we have to do the transition over a period of 10 days. It should
Right.
not be a sudden transition, because that can lead to stomach upset for sure, right? Digestion problems, or things like that will come up. So first 3 days, what you have to do is 25% of the new food and 75% of the old food. And
Right.
also we can, as I told you, they eat according to the smell of the food, not the taste. So when you have like 75% of the previous food, they'll eat the food. Whenever you try to introduce a new food, so 25% of the new food, so that smell, and 75% of the old food. And with that also the pet gets, pet's microbiomes also get adjusted to the new food. So
Right.
first 3 days 25% new food, 75% old food.
Previous.
Then next 3 days, fourth to sixth day, you have to make 50% old food and 50% new food. And then 6th to 9th day, you have to give 75% new food and 25% old food, and 10th day completely introduce the new food. That's
Right.
how it should be done. So it will take care of the microbiomes, and
Right.
your pet will be, you won't find the problem of that, the pet is not eating the food, pet is not liking the food, pet, suddenly stop eating the food. Most of these complaints come when you introduce a new food all of a sudden.
Right.
So that's one thing that we have to really make sure whenever we do the transition, it is slow and smooth over a period of 10 days.
Perfect. So just to sum
Yeah.
up Meet's points, that today if you want to change the food, start with 90% of the old food, and the first 3 days keep 75% of the food that you're already feeding. Make it within the first 3 days that you are feeding the new food up to 25%. So 3/4 old food and 1/4 new food would be the ratio in the first 3 days. Next 3 days would be half and half, 50% old food, 50% new food. And then slowly in the next 3 days, you move to 3/4, which is 75% of the new food, right? And 1/4 of the old food. So within a span of literally a week, you can transition, but do it slowly. Never, finish your old food and all of a sudden introduce the new food, because it will have complications in the, digestive tract, and can be a little complicated. So to have a smooth transition, to avoid any digestive issues, this is the perfect, perfect shifting of food that we should be following. Bhavneet, in fact, I have a few questions not on this live, but I was hosting a watch party on my timeline. So I thought I'll just add a couple of these questions before we move on to our track. So there is Varun Anand. He has 4 dogs that he's been feeding Farmina, but he also feeds salmon oil and multivitamins on top of it. So what do you recommend? Should he be stopping that or should he continue? And these are all adult dogs already.
Yes, please don't, add any supplement to the food, because when we give a nutrition plan, that's a tailor-made nutrition plan. In that, it's
Right,
already taken care of, the amount of vitamins and minerals are also present in the food itself. So
right,
we don't advise to give any additional supplements, because each and every supplement, it is a complete balanced diet. Again and again, I'm telling you, this is a complete balanced diet. We don't need to spend additional money on, giving more supplements, because it can interfere with, I don't know, the vitamins and minerals that he's giving. So it can interfere with other, vitamins and minerals that can cause imbalance in the body. So the
right,
best way is to get a nutrition plan. He can reach out to us. We will make a nutrition plan for him, since he is feeding Farmina food, and we can tell him what is the exact quantity that he should be feeding, and stop using the additional supplements. It's not needed at all. Not,
right.
not just for Farmina, like for any, if people are giving good quality dog food, then the supplements are not needed. Even
Required.
I will clarify, even for the, bitch who is pregnant, for that also, even for the puppies, we don't
Mhm.
suggest that you give additional calcium supplements, because
Right.
the food is made according to that particular stage, that we have added more calcium and the more, vitamins and minerals that are needed in that
Mhm.
particular during time period. So that is why we have puppy starter food, we have puppy food, we have adult food, we have senior food. So these are different classifications, because we take into consideration already all the things that are required to be given to the pet at particular stage. So no
Mhm.
extra supplements are needed with the food. This is a complete balanced diet.
Right. Also, now there's we've been asked, and like I know a lot of people who keep multiple dogs, especially or in general, like what they do, and I feel that this is a mistake, but I would like your expert opinion on it. That one person does mixing of food brands a lot. That in the morning they will feed Pedigree, in the evening Farmina, tomorrow Royal Canin, day after Origin, and they feel that instead of feeding one particular brand and whatever the things are missing out in that brand, I will be able to cover it up with the other brand. And I know a lot of people who buy one bag of Pedigree and one bag of Farmina, and I don't want to not really put comparisons or anything, but even choosing a single one of them wouldn't that be a better idea to go ahead with, instead of mixing all the dog food different brands? I don't know how that really, like, the
Yes.
logic
So
behind that.
even I don't understand the logic behind that. So one thing I again clarify is, since the pets have limited microbiomes, right? Because of that, you cannot give, different diets just like us. We can have something else. Aaj kuch khaya, kal kuch aur kha liya, parso kuch aur kha liya,
I think
right?
that's the
That's how
logic
we balance
basically.
our,
That
yeah.
today have
That's,
puri, tomorrow
you know,
golgappe. Like,
yeah, see, that's where this instinct comes from. We as human beings get bored with the things easily, right? Because for us it's like we have 1,000 times more microbiomes in our body, but pets, they have limited, it's targeted. So for
right,
that we have to give similar kind of food. It's not out of the habit. There are few things that we have to take care of. Again, it's the because of our behavior. It's, we feel bored with the same kind of food, but
Mhm.
pets are not like that. We should give them same kind of food, because it's
Mhm.
a balanced diet. It takes care of all the vitamins and minerals that are needed, and we should not keep changing from one food to other food until
Right,
and unless your pet is, showing some signs, like your pet is not
right,
eating the food at all, or there is some or any kind of problem coming up with the digestive issue, or some allergy has come up. So till that
right.
time we should keep a similar kind of food. We should not
Mhm.
keep switching between one food to other food. It does not,
Right.
for example, if you're feeding Farmina, you're feeding Origin, and then you're feeding Akana, and then you're feeding Pedigree, you won't find the results that you're looking for.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's correct. So, moving to the ingredients inside the food that we have, Famina, or any dog food for that matter, can you help us differentiate? One there is a very funny question which I will come to after this. But first, let's prioritize on the fact of the containment of grain. That there is one variant which is low grain, one variant which is no grain, and we have somebody here asking one question regarding that as well. As soon as I'm able to reach that, I think they were asking that there are a few variants in Famina. Yeah, please.
I'm so sorry. I could not get your question. Can you please come again?
Yes, I'm going to repeat that. I'm just looking for that comment that had come to us where they had asked why some Farmina food has corn gluten. One question is that from the viewers. This is Mr. Anand Mavadia. If he's here, please give us a shout out. My question to you, Bhavneet, same question is please, can you differentiate between, grain-free food, low grain? Like what is the difference between low grain and grain-free? And why is it that some variants have corn gluten, and how much of it is okay to give your dog? And what kind of dog should be going for what food option basically?
Okay, so basically L-carnitine you will find mostly in the wet life products. That is one of it's present in cardiac. So L-carnitine basically helps to mobilize the fat.
Right.
So for for pets who are suffering from cardiac problem, so in that case we have added L-carnitine that's coming from corn gluten.
Right. Okay.
And that helps for the fat mobilization. It's only in the it's only present in the wet life products. And apart from that, as you asked, the second question was for low grain and no grain diet. So in the low grain that we have used it's the ancient grain, which is spelt and oats. It is specifically added because ancient, we call it ancient. So there is not a lot of processing done for the food because they are old grains. Like for example, wheat, we do a lot of different experiments, processing, and then after we kind of use the food. So there is a lot of mixing with the wheat, but this spelt and oats that comes from the ancient family, and that's from the Italy. Mostly it's organic farming which is done, and apart from that, it has low glycemic index. So it is especially for the breeds who are it's for the all ages, and it starts from the puppy. It also helps to develop the microbial flora. It helps because mostly the GI tract is also called the second brain. The intestine is also called, the gut is also called the second brain for human beings and for gut pets as well. So for that we need to feed soluble and insoluble fiber. So that is why you'll find low grain food in the diet. And apart from that, it also helps to control the obesity in the pets when they grow, because it keeps you full for a very long time, and it provides you energy throughout the day. So it gives a low glycemic index. That is why we use mostly spelt and oats as the grains, and we call them low grain diets, because it's just 10% that we have used, 10% spelt and 10% oats, and it mainly gives low glycemic index to the food.
Right. So
and then even coming to the
please continue.
Go ahead. Yeah, and then the other range that we have is grain free. In that we have not used any kind of grains. So it's like 70% it's non-veg and 30% good quality fruits and vegetables and antioxidant, and good fatty acids that we have used in the food.
Right. Perfect. So, what I was picking up on, that even the low grain variants have very elite form of grains, which is spelt and oats, and the most lean and the least harmful, even to humans, even to dogs. These are the kind of grains that a human nutritionist will suggest for a leaner feeding habit for humans as well, as little as my experience is. But, people ask
to the low glycemic index.
Exactly. And, and one point that we had picked up on our previous live chat, with Famina, where sometimes certain grains would be required as a binding agent to have, to produce the kibble. So there are some times that only to make the dog food, and as a binding agent, sometimes the grain is used. The most important part is what kind of grain. So here, Mr. Rohan Jain, again on my timelines watch party, has asked me, is rice fine for dogs? I feed a golden retriever rice and chicken every day. So, I know you have answered this overall, that this
Yes,
is
yes,
not
I'll
wholesome,
still again.
complete nutrition.
Yeah.
But I think we can go for it again. So,
Yes. See, rice is mostly simple carbohydrates. It has high
Mhm.
glycemic index, due to which, digestion, it is digested like very fast. Your blood
Mhm.
glucose level will rise up very fast. So it can easily cause, lead to obesity in your pet. And apart
Right.
from that, it does not have any kind of soluble or insoluble fiber. It is simple sugar.
Mhm.
So most of the energy is coming from the rice.
Okay.
And your pet gets hungry very fast. If
Right.
you might have come across, if you're eating rice,
Uh-huh.
you feel hungry very fast on days,
Right.
because rice
Right.
is digested very easily owing to the high glycemic index of the food. And again, it's not a complete balanced diet, but rice can lead to obesity in pets. So it
Right.
can be, given it, unless it is recommended by a vet, that they
Mhm.
have to give a certain diet. Sometimes, vets advise rice and curd, but that's only in, certain cases. Until unless it is advised, I would not suggest anyone to, feed chicken and rice. And I would like to
Mhm.
add one more thing.
Mhm.
When we talk about a homemade meal to a pet, what we do is we choose, 4 to 5 vegetables, we add it with
Right.
rice, and then we give non-veg. And that's how we call it a balanced homemade diet, which is not.
Right. Absolutely. So, one thing I've also, because I manage a kennel over here, and my staff and management, I've, been very, very particular about the diet and nutrition. A lot of times I've corrected them, and many of my clients, training clients as well, that, chicken and rice is a broad statement, because maybe they are feeding 80% rice and only 20% chicken. So then that makes it absolutely wrong. Just in case it was 70-80% protein and only 10-20% of the rice, then it is still, close to being fine as a home-based nutrition, because in chicken and
Well,
rice you
I would still,
maybe
I would still
some
not advise to do that.
right. But in general, like, if someone has chicken and rice, the constitution of the proteins involved in it are the more important factor. That maybe somebody is just giving one piece of chicken and rest is just rice, then automatically that would end up in skin outbreaks and many other complications for the dog as well. So Pavneet, now there is one last question before we, try and wrap this up. Already, it is, crossed an hour. Normally, Instagram cuts me off because I talk a lot when it comes to dogs. So over here, we're lucky Facebook is not doing that with me. So one
Okay.
question a lot of people have asked is that, is there any vegetarian food option in Famina? And if so, what is the brand? If not, why not? Like,
See, as we talked about, we started our discussion, with this, that pets are carnivorous animal, and Farmina is a company that does a lot of research in, making the food. So till now, we have not come across a diet that can be vegetarian. Maybe, but the keeping a diet vegetarian, I do not have an answer for that, because it's difficult to, give the kind of protein that pets need by
right,
compensating the calories, because with a vegetarian diet you'll have to give a lot of calories also with that, along with that, and a lot of carbohydrates also will come into play. For pets, see, there are two things. The kind of protein that is coming, it is to be taken care by two things. One is the amino acid profile. So
Mhm.
animal source has complete amino acid profile. That means it has all the essential 9 amino acids, and for
Mhm.
cats, it's additional taurine that are present in the non-veg.
Right.
But it is not available in the vegetarian source of protein. Apart
Mhm.
from quinoa, quinoa is something which is somewhere in the top 5 amino acid biologically, which is good source of protein. And the other thing is digestibility. So
Right.
it's not just the protein that you can see, okay, 80% of your diet is protein, but
Mhm.
the kind and the quality of protein. So how
Right.
much is digestible? For example, we eat, lot of legumes, we eat dal. It's not
Right.
100% converted into the, a bioavailable protein in the body, the amino
Right.
acids. It's not 100% convertible. It could be, 30 to 40% that is converted into actual protein in the body. So that's
Right.
where the thing comes in, that protein dogs need most of the energy that has to come from protein and fat.
Mm-hmm.
So we really have to take care of, what is the source of protein. So in that we have to find out, okay, whether it is vegetarian source or whether it is non-vegetarian source. And in the
Right.
second thing is how much protein is actually available, how much, body gets the protein from the food.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the two things. And in these two things, if we look at, we cannot have a protein source, from a vegetarian diet that gives the quality and quantity of protein that is to be given to a pet. So that
Right.
only comes from the non-vegetarian diet. And
Right.
by nature, nature has made them to be carnivores. How can we as human beings play with,
Right.
nature?
Absolutely.
That's what I
See,
would advise
lot
them.
lot of our human emotions are
Yes,
doing the
yes,
way that we behave with animals, and be it our pet dogs or pet cats or stray dogs or stray cats, we, because of our emotions and our opinions, even though there's no research behind it, we are doing a lot of things. We might be thinking that it's a wonderful thing, I love the dog, so I'm feeding him vegetables or something like that. So just for the new viewers out here, you seriously do not recommend a vegetarian or vegan diet whatsoever for dogs and cats. Is that correct? Is that what we want to sort of conclude with, that literally vegetarian diet or vegan diet is not beneficial to the dog whatsoever?
So I couldn't hear. There was some connection problem. I could not, get to
Am I
your.
audible? Hello.
Hi, Aznan.
Hi. Can you hear me? Yeah, better.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so I was just summarizing what you had mentioned, that you personally, and Famina and including myself, we don't recommend vegetarian or vegan diet for dogs or cats, because it is not just, it's not beneficial at all, and it's sometimes harmful to have carnivores living purely on vegetarian. So I was just summarizing that for the new viewers who might have joined us in in the middle of the chat. And so I think we've covered most of the questions. Yeah, Vidhi, hi. You have asked us, how do you decide what amount of food that needs to be given? So we have already answered that fact. That it's best to go online on Famina and connect with the nutritional consultants, giving out your dog's age, weight, breed, all the possible details that you can, and any medical details that are there as well. And a nutritional consultant will come back to you with a customized diet plan, so that catered specifically for your dog's needs, specifically for you. um, I think we have lost Pavneet again. So I think it's well and good time that we can sign out as well. If Pavneet joins me in, I would would like to have her back, just to wave everyone goodbye and just to sign off. In total, before that, let me just add a few pointers here, that Famina has been really helpful in my dog's nutrition and me deciding what to feed my dogs and my kennel dogs and my company's dogs as well. But on top of that, this was fantastic that they got nutritional consultants on board. And I think as we've covered it multiple times in this video, go on their website, check out the service that is that they're offering for the people. And this is a personalized service. There are actually humans who are customizing this. This is not an automated thing. And anyone who is looking for dog food right now, dogspot.in is delivering Famina food all across India right now. Animal fodder falls under the essentials list under COVID-19 regulations. So please do not worry. Maybe you're not able to go out. Maybe you're not able to get to the pet shop. Maybe people abandon their pet shops, close them down. Maybe there's no delivery. But dogspot.in is going to solve all those problems for you by delivering Famina to your doorstep. So I think thank you so much, guys, for joining us, for being so patient, asking such wonderful questions. If you have any further questions, please DM, send a message to dogspot.in directly. You know who I am, Adnan Khan, K9 School, repping it with all these logos and stuff. So reach out to me if you need anything. Please keep coming and watching these things. We are making it much better over course of time. We are learning how to get the right information to you every single day. I think Bhavneet is just joining us. I would like to just have her on just to say goodbye to everyone. Hi, Bhavneet.
Yeah, sorry, it just
So,
got disconnected.
so we were just signing off. So, if you have anything to say to the audience who's been so patiently watching with us and interacting with us, before we sign off, I've already given like a long speech while you were away. And I personally want to thank you for so much time. It's I've been sitting here eating your brain for a really long time. I
No,
know.
that was a really nice interaction with you, Adnan.
Everyone who knows me knows that if you say yes to an hour, it might go up to 3 hours. So say yes to 20 minutes, then I'll sign off in an hour. So thank you so much, and thank you, Famina, for having this. Thank you, Doctor, for having me do this interview. So yeah, if you have any final pointers or something to say to the audience before we sign off.
So the one thing is, please don't, take care of your pets as human babies or puppies. They are different. They are part of the family, but don't treat them emotionally. Emotional eating is, causing a big problem to the pets. Please avoid that. Eat, feed them according to the energy requirement for their pet. They learn things very easily. They get to know our behavior very easily. So please don't, emotionally feed your pets. And the other thing is, get the benefit of a nutrition consultant. This is one of its kind service, and we will help you to give the best possible service for your pet, and we will stay connected with you, with the lovely family member of yours, and we will try to give you best possible service from Parmina.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Keep this as your takeaway, that your pet is part of your family, but it is a dog or a cat at the end of the day. You cannot turn it into a human being because of any emotions and stuff. And I'm really sorry, guys. Obviously, we missed out 2 or 3 questions because we had a few topics of our own. But Mr. Tarandeep, please feel free to drop this message to us on dogspot.in, and anyone else who watches this later has any questions, we will be happy to directly answer them for you. Sorry, we are just finishing up on the time. It's well beyond our time slot for today. So thank you so much for being so patient and watching with us. Any further questions as well, just send us a DM. You know who we are. Just reach out to us and keep watching. Almost every day we're having these live chats. Thank you again, Bhavneet. Looking forward to having such chats with you in the future. Yeah, take care.
Thank you, Adnan. Thank you for having me as well. Yeah,
have a great
take care.
evening.
Yeah, great evening to you too.